Imagine this: a factory is earning huge profits, the owner is happy, customers are buying products cheaply, everything looks perfect. But nearby residents are coughing because of pollution, rivers are becoming toxic, children are getting sick. Now, here's a big question: if markets are supposed to make society better, then why do problems like pollution, fake products, monopolies, and inequality still exist? Why do markets sometimes fail? And why does the government step in? Today, we are going to uncover the hidden problems inside markets and understand why governments play such a powerful role in every economy. Why markets don't always work perfectly. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Premalata from Vistas. Welcome to my channel Economics Unplugged. Today we are diving into one of the most interesting concepts in economics, market failure. Now, usually we hear that markets are efficient, that buyers and sellers together create the best outcomes, but in reality, markets are not always perfect. Sometimes they create pollution, sometimes inequality, sometimes fake products, and sometimes even exploit consumers. So, in this video, we will explore why market failures happen, how they affect society, and how governments try to fix them. Let's begin with two simple questions. Why does pollution exist if it harms everyone? And why are some essential services not provided properly by private companies? Think about healthcare, think about street lights, think about public transport. If markets are efficient, shouldn't these things work perfectly? Well, not necessarily. And that's exactly where the idea of market failure begins. So, what exactly is market failure? Market failure happens when resources are not allocated properly. In simple words, the market fails to produce the best outcome for society. Now, here's the interesting part: markets usually focus on profit, but society cares about welfare, and these two are not always the same. For example, a company may make profits by polluting rivers. For the company, business is successful, but for society, it creates damage. That mismatch is called market failure. This is one of the most important ideas in economics. Private decisions are often different from social benefits. Businesses usually ask, how much profit can I earn? But society asks, how will this affect everyone? Let's take an example. Imagine a company cutting down forests to build factories. Privately, the company earns money, creates products, gains profits. But socially, trees disappear, pollution increases, climate problems worsen. So, what benefits one business may actually harm society. Now, let's understand the major causes of market failure. There are four important reasons: externalities, public goods, imperfect competition, and information failure. These are the main situations where markets stop working efficiently. And throughout this video, we will break down each one with real life examples. First comes externalities, also called spillover effects. Now, this sounds technical, but the idea is actually very simple. An externality happens when one person's economic activity affects another person who's not directly involved. Sometimes the effect is good, sometimes it is bad. That's why we divide them into positive externalities and negative externalities. Let's first look at positive externalities. These are benefits enjoyed by others without paying for them. The best example is education. When a student gets educated, that person benefits personally, gets knowledge, gets a better job. But society also benefits. Educated people improve productivity, reduce crime, create innovation, and help economic growth. So the social benefit becomes greater than the private benefit. That's why governments support education heavily. Think about this carefully. A student may go to college for personal success, but later that student may become a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, or an entrepreneur, and suddenly society benefits too. One educated individual can positively impact thousands of lives. That's why education is not just a personal investment, it is a social investment. Now let's move to negative externalities. This is where economic activities create costs for others. The classical example, pollution. A factory may earn profits by producing goods cheaply, but nearby people may suffer health problems, dirty air, contaminated water, and noise pollution. So, here the social cost becomes greater than the private cost, and the market ignores these hidden damages. Imagine a chemical factory near a village. The company earns crores in profit, but villagers suffer from diseases because of polluted water. Now, here's the problem: the company does not directly pay for that damage, society pays the price. This is why governments introduce pollution laws and environmental regulations. Now let's discuss public goods. These are goods that everyone can use, and here's that the challenge: you cannot easily stop people from using them. Example, street lights, national defense, and public parks. Suppose a street light is installed. One person using it doesn't reduce its benefit for others, and you cannot realistically charge every person walking under it, because private companies may not earn enough profit from these services. They often underprovide them. So governments step in. Another major cause of market failure is information failure. This happens when consumers do not have accurate information. For example, fake medicines, misleading advertisements, duplicate products. Imagine buying a health drink that claims become fit in 7 days, but the information is false. Consumers make wrong decisions because they lack proper knowledge. This creates unfair markets. Now let's talk about market power. Sometimes markets are dominated by only a few firms. This creates monopoly or oligopoly situations. When firms control the market, prices rise, competition decreases, consumers suffer. Think about it. If only one company controls internet services in a city, they can charge very high prices because consumers have no alternative. That's why governments regulate monopolies. So now the big question becomes, why does the government intervene in markets? Because markets alone cannot always ensure fairness and efficiency. The government intervenes to correct inefficiencies, protect consumers, reduce inequality, and improve social welfare. In simple words, markets need rules to function properly. The government uses several tools to correct market failures. The major roles include regulation, taxation, subsidies, and public goods provision. Each tool is designed to solve a specific market problems. Regulation means creating laws and rules. For example, pollution control laws, food safety standards, and labor laws. Without regulations, some firms may prioritize profits over human welfare. Regulations create boundaries for fair economic activity. Governments also use taxes to reduce harmful activities. These are called corrective taxes. For example, taxes on cigarettes, alcohol, and fuel. When harmful products become more expensive, people tend to consume less. So taxation is used to discourage negative externalities. Now subsidies do the opposite. Instead of discouraging harmful activities, they encourage beneficial activities. Governments provide subsidies for education, healthcare, and renewable energy because these activities create positive spillover benefits for society. Finally, the government directly provides public goods, things like roads, defense, bridges, infrastructure. Why? Because private companies may not provide them sufficiently due to low profits, but society still needs them. So, governments become providers. So, let's quickly recap. Markets are powerful, but they are not perfect. Problems like pollution, monopolies, fake information, and underproduction of public goods can create market failures. And governments intervene to correct these problems and improve social welfare. And here's the final insights. A successful economy is not just about free markets and it's not just about government control either. The real success comes from balance, a balance between market freedom and responsible government intervention. Because when both work together, society benefits the most. If you enjoyed this video and finally understood market failure in a simple and interesting way, make sure to like the video, comment your favorite concept, and subscribe my channel Economics Unplugged for more economics content explained through stories and real life examples. And remember, economics is happening around you every single day. You just need to notice it. See you in the next video. Thank you.